cold, clear night of November 7th, 1970, forever etched itself into the annals of UFO lore, near the quiet Danish town of Vildbjerg, in the heart of Jutland. An event unfolded that would captivate investigators and fuel speculation for decades. This incident, often referred to as the Vildbjerg event, remains one of Europe's most compelling clues. It centers on the testimony of a young boy, Kjeld, then just 13 years old. His encounter with the unknown would defy easy explanation and challenge conventional understanding. Kjeld was not a child prone to flights of fancy or exaggeration. Teachers and family universally described him as a quiet, honest, and reliable boy. His credibility would become a cornerstone of this astonishing narrative. What Kjeld witnessed that night transcended ordinary experience, drawing him into a mystery that persists to this day. The evening began like any other for young Kjeld. He was riding his bicycle home, the crisp autumn air biting at his cheeks after visiting a friend. His route took him down a secluded country lane, a familiar path that wound past the Lille Korsgård farm. The tranquility of the Danish countryside offered little hint of the extraordinary events about to unfold. Darkness had settled, illuminated only by the faint glow of his bicycle lamp and the distant stars. It was a journey he had made countless times before. Suddenly, an invisible force seized his bicycle. Kjeld felt an intense, powerful, magnetic pull that threatened to wrench him from his seat. The unexpected force tried to drag him off the road and into an adjacent field. In the midst of this inexplicable struggle, his bicycle's headlight abruptly died, plunging him into near-total darkness. Despite the jolt, he managed to regain control, bewildered by the sudden malfunction. Later inspection revealed no damage. The bulb and wiring were perfectly intact, adding to the growing sense of unease. It was then that Kjeld saw it, approximately 50 meters away, resting in the field. A massive metallic disc, its surface glinting faintly under the weak moonlight. This object, unlike anything he had ever witnessed, appeared to be roughly 20 to 25 feet in diameter. It stood silently on 3 robust, leg-like protrusions, firmly planted on the earth. Its design was sleek, domed both on the top and bottom, creating a distinctive, almost otherworldly silhouette. A prominent ring or turret encircled its midsection, adding to its alien geometry. Near the silent craft, 5 figures moved with an unsettling purpose. They were distinctly humanoid, but unlike any humans Kjeld had ever seen. Each stood approximately 5 feet tall, their forms enveloped in tight-fitting, light gray or silvery one-piece suits. Their most striking and disturbing feature was their eyes. Large, deep, and unnervingly dark, they resembled those of an insect or exaggerated goggles. Their heads seemed disproportionately large in relation to their slender bodies, and their skin appeared pale, almost grayish. Their movements were slow, deliberate, and stiff, almost robotic. They appeared to be methodically inspecting the ground around the mysterious craft, perhaps performing some unknown function. The scene was utterly surreal, frozen in a moment of profound strangeness. As Kjeld watched, transfixed by a terror he had never known, one of the figures moved. Slowly, its large head turned. The dark, enigmatic eyes locked directly onto Kjeld, an intense gaze that pierced through the darkness. It was a moment of profound mutual observation. Kjeld was paralyzed, rooted to the spot by an overwhelming fear. He could not move, could not speak, could not even scream. Seconds stretched into an eternity as the silent figures seemingly acknowledged his presence. There was no telepathic communication, no overt hostile action, just an unnerving, silent stare. Just as abruptly as they had appeared, the figures' demeanor changed. They ceased their inspection, turning with surprising speed. In a sudden, synchronized movement, they hurried back towards the craft, disappearing within its metallic shell. The event shifted into its final, most astonishing phase. The three leg-like protrusions beneath the object retracted smoothly, silently. Without a sound, the enormous disc lifted effortlessly a short distance off the ground. Then, in an instant, it shot away at an incredible, unimaginable speed. It vanished from sight in mere moments, leaving Kjeld alone in the silent field. Only then did he notice the lingering physical evidence. Where the massive craft had rested, the grass was unmistakably flattened. The impression of its presence was still clearly visible beneath the stars. The departure of the object broke Kjeld's paralyzing fear, replacing it with sheer, unadulterated terror. He scrambled back onto his bicycle, pedaling furiously down the dark lane, desperate to escape the scene. His heart hammered against his ribs, each beat echoing the shock of his encounter. He burst through the door of his home, pale, shaking, and completely overwhelmed. He found it impossible to articulate the horrifying spectacle he had just witnessed. His distress was profound, visible proof of a traumatic experience. Kjeld's parents were immediately concerned by their son's state. They pressed him gently, then more insistently, to explain what had happened. He recounted his incredible story, his voice trembling with a mixture of fear and disbelief.
In the woods,
his father,
hiding. They saw
initially
me.
skeptical, listened
We have to leave
patiently,
now.
though doubt
It isn't
surely
safe
gnawed
here
at him.
anymore.
Despite his reservations, the raw terror in Kjeld's eyes was undeniable. The following morning, driven by a paternal duty to understand, his father agreed to accompany Kjeld. Together, they returned to the silent field to investigate the incredible claims. What they discovered shattered any lingering skepticism. In the damp morning dew, there was a perfectly circular mark on the ground. It was approximately 25 feet in diameter, precisely where Kjeld had claimed the object rested. The evidence was irrefutable. Within this impressive circle, the grass lay flattened in a distinct clockwise spiral pattern. It was as if an immense, unseen hand had pressed it down and twisted it. The ground within the circle also felt strangely dry and unusually hard to the touch. This contrasted sharply with the soft, damp soil of the surrounding field, confirming a powerful localized effect. The physical trace evidence was compelling, but other details emerged that solidified Kjeld's account. A nearby farmer independently reported seeing a brilliant, shining object moving through the sky around the exact time of Kjeld's encounter. This observation, completely unrelated to Kjeld's story, added a layer of external validation. Furthermore, investigators would later uncover other independent UFO reports from the wider area on that very same day. These additional sightings, though not directly linked to the Lille Korsgård landing, painted a picture of unusual aerial activity. They lent significant credibility to Kjeld's extraordinary account. The local police were among the first to receive the astonishing report, though they likely struggled to classify it. The case quickly drew the attention of Rufos, the Danish UFO research organization, a group dedicated to investigating unexplained phenomena. Their lead investigator, Tage Andersen, soon took charge. Andersen and his team meticulously documented Kjeld's testimony and the physical evidence. Their professional approach ensured that every detail was recorded. The seriousness with which the case was treated underscored its unusual nature. Investigators found Kjeld Kierkegaard's testimony remarkably consistent and detailed throughout their inquiries. His account never wavered, even under repeated questioning. The obvious trauma he exhibited lent significant credence to his story, showcasing the profound impact of the event. Crucially, his narrative lacked any fantastical embellishments, focusing solely on the chilling facts of his experience. No plausible explanation for a hoax or any psychological delusion could ever be found. His sincerity was undeniable. The Lille Korsgård sighting rapidly achieved iconic status within Scandinavian ufology. It was recognized as one of the most significant close encounters of the third kind in the region's history, a classification reserved for sightings involving apparent occupants. The clear, vivid description of the insect-eyed humanoids was particularly noteworthy. This distinct characteristic, the large, dark, goggle-like eyes, became a recurring motif in subsequent UFO reports globally. It provided a chilling detail that resonated with other, similar accounts, solidifying its place in the broader UFO narrative. The encounter offered a tangible, disturbing glimpse into an unknown phenomenon. As an adult, Kjeld largely chose to retreat from the public spotlight. The intense scrutiny and the lingering mystery of his experience were undoubtedly profound. He sought a life of normalcy, away from the constant discussion of his childhood trauma. However, Kjeld occasionally reconfirmed his story to trusted researchers. He maintained, with quiet conviction, that his encounter was a real and transformative event. It was an experience he could not explain, one that forever altered his perception of reality. The Lille Korsgård sighting remains a cornerstone case in Danish ufology. It continues to be studied, debated, and analyzed by researchers worldwide. Its combination of a credible witness, compelling physical evidence, and detailed humanoid descriptions sets it apart. This classic CE3 case stands as a potent reminder of the unexplained. It challenges us to look beyond conventional explanations, daring us to consider what other intelligences might share our cosmos. The chilling tale from Vildbjerg continues to intrigue, compelling us to ask, what truly happened on that cold November night?